Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of my adventure in the Netherlands. Before I start, I want to say something quickly. English is not my first language, I'm Spanish, and I'm still learning. But I've decided to record this podcast in English as well because I really believe the only way to improve is by practicing, even if it's not perfect. So, this is also part of my journey, getting out of my comfort zone, making mistakes, and learning along the way. If you are listening and you are also learning something new, I hope this encourages you to just go for it. Today I'm going to tell you about my first week on the farm and all the incredible people I met, my first step with cheese making, and those moments that leave you completely exhausted but happy at the same time. Let's start with the first people I met, the farm owners and the volunteers who, like me, come here to spend a few months contributing to the different activities on the farm. Joanna, Johannes, and Julian are the owners of the farm. They are a truly hands-on couple who not only run the farm, but also make sure every process works smoothly, thanks to several coordinators specialized in each area. Joanna also teaches at university 2 days a week, enjoys practicing yoga, and together they are incredible, dedicated parents to their son, Julian, a beautiful 7-month-old baby you simply can't help but fall in love with. He is always happy, never shy, and as soon as he feels a bit comfortable, he starts showing you his adorable little happy dance, moving his arms and legs at the same time while giving you the biggest smile. Hassan and Narcis are two volunteers from Iraq. He has living in the Netherlands for almost 30 years and he has a very open and inspiring mindset. It's comforting to talk and exchange ideas with him as everything comes from a place of respect and calm. Nargis is a brave woman who once decided she didn't want to accept a life where religion and politics are connected and chose instead to travel and share her experience. It hasn't been easy due to differences with her family, but she loves what she does. And what she does helps other women who are afraid to take that step. Kevin is a volunteer from South Africa, very kind, calm, and always bringing good energy. He is always asking how he can help, and he's amazing with the cows since he grew up on his family's farm. Luke is the coordinator for everything related to the cows, from feeding them, preparing the barn, milking, and also training the volunteers who assist him. He leads by example, even if that means working from sunrise to sunset. He is also very fun, always has something interesting to talk about, and during dinners, he makes sure everyone feels included and comfortable. Aliana has been on the farm for 3 years and she's the one who organizes all the tasks, both for volunteers like us and for more than 100 locals who join because they connect with the farm's values. She creates weekly schedules, plans everything. In short, she is the one who makes everything run smoothly. She's cheerful, creates a great atmosphere in the dairy room, and at the same time is demanding and precise with processes. Now that I've given you some context and introduced the people I spent my first week with, let me tell you about my experience. My first real day started with mixed feelings. On one hand, I was excited to finally live something I have imagined so many times. On the other hand, there was that voice asking, why did I leave my comfort zone? But I know myself well enough now to recognize when my mind is trying to sabotage me. So I remind myself, if it feels uncomfortable, I'm probably doing the right thing. Because discomfort wakes you up. It makes you feel more alive than ever. Here on the farm, most tasks start at 9. The first thing I learned was that they called cheese caring, and it's not as simple as it sounds. It includes everything that needs to be done after the cheese is made to keep it in perfect condition. Turning the cheeses, some weigh 5 or 8 kilos, but most are around 12. Coating them with a protective layer to prevent mold, doing it carefully, cleaning shelves, floors, and I can tell you, this feels more like a HIIT workout than the calm task you might imagine. For those who don't know, HIIT is a type of workout with short but intense efforts. Here, it's like doing squats, lifting weight to your shoulders, what CrossFit calls a clean and push it overhead, a push press, and all of that without any motivational music. Around 11, we take a coffee break, and by 12 or 12:30, we finish the morning tasks. After a 30-45 minutes lunch break, the afternoon usually starts around 2 p.m. On my first day, I spent the afternoon turning soil with a huge tool to prepare it for planting flowers. The field wasn't very big, but the effort definitely was. Still, I enjoyed it so much. For that hour and 45 minutes, my mind was completely calm, just flowing with the process, enjoying the breeze, the birds, the chickens moving around. And even though I should have been exhausted, I wasn't. I felt full of energy and excitement for the next day. Dinner here is a special shared moment. It's day you can choose whether to join or not, and whether you want to cook. Not pressure at all. That first day, Narcis and Hassan cooked, and I was amazed. Mushroom soup, salad, and as a main dish, leek rolls stuffed with rice and vegetables. Rico, rico. You can imagine how I went to bed that night. It was intense, emotional, full of questions, but without any rush to have all the answers. Missing my people, especially my husband, but happy to be living something that felt impossible just a year ago. And that was just my first day. So, to keep this episode from getting too long, I briefly summarized the rest of the week. What two processes did I learn? On one hand, cheese making, and I can tell you without a doubt, it's the most intense of all. I was really surprised by how manual and artisanal the whole process is here on the farm. Marcel knows an incredible amount, and it's such a pleasure to work with him. The task itself is very demanding. There's a lot of weight involved. Each cheese is around 12 kilos, as I mentioned it before, but the molds weigh even more because they hold a lot of water. And something very important, not only this process, but in all of them, it's cleaning. It takes just as long or even longer than making the cheese itself. On the other hand, I learned braining. Every afternoon after dinner, we follow a serial of steps to make sure the cheeses are properly taken care of throughout the day. Either we turn the cheeses that are already submerged in brine, or we place them into the brine if there has been cheese making that day. That's it for the processes, but if you are wondering about the highlights of the week, I'd say there are three main ones. First of all, I have to admit that I felt completely blocked and unable to decide to cook. Even now, I can't fully explain why. Maybe I missed my usual kitchen, the ingredients, or maybe it was the pressure of cooking for 7 people. So, what did I do? I asked for help. Something I've only recently learned to do, and it's so freeing. So I asked Narcissus if we could cook together to break through that mental barrier. And once I got over that fear, the next day I was able to cook pesto with vegetables and a Spanish omelette with onions. And even though I couldn't use our extra virgin olive oil, everything turned out pretty good. The second highlight would be the walks. Laren, it's so beautiful, and even though my first bike ride to Laham was quite challenging, 4 degrees, a scarf, gloves, neck warmer, and checking the GPS every 5 minutes so I wouldn't get lost, I felt incredible liberating. I also recorded my first videos for my project Cozy Dutch Slow Life, setting up a static camera and capturing sound and landscape slowly so anyone can enjoy them from home. And the third highlight is that I learned to organize myself, to collaborate with others, to be patient, and to enjoy even repetitive tasks. Because each one has its own moment of flow if you are truly open to feeling it. And if I can compare it, I ended the week more tired than a farm horse, but feeling exactly where I'm meant to be. Thank you for staying until the end. If you'd like to join me on this adventure, I'll see you in the next episode. See you soon.